Greetings, Deep Dive Podcast listeners. This is your boy, Sam Orum, coming at you with another episode of the Deep Dive Podcast. Hey guys, I'm excited about the year so far. 2022 has already been incredible. We're really looking forward to some more incredible days and months, weeks ahead. This is going to be a great year for a lot of people. We talked about last couple of weeks ago, I think it was, resetting your life, just pushing that reset button on your life. And today I'm going to do a solo podcast because so many people have been asking questions about so many aspects of what does it mean to reset your life? What does it mean to really have an opportunity to grow throughout the year? And so I'm going to do a solo podcast today, more so in the teaching vein. So get your pen, get your paper, get ready to take some good notes, and we're going to dive right into it in a second. Before I do that, though, for all of our listeners, we're broadcasting in over 170 countries around the world. We're excited about that. We have some people in Denmark who are really excited about the Deep Dive Podcast. We want to welcome all of you, welcome everybody who's joining in. Please do me a big favor, though. During this podcast, after this podcast, please like, subscribe, share, download. The support for the podcast has been incredible, but we're always looking to continuously build the base of listeners for the Deep Dive Podcast. And by you supporting, that gives us an opportunity to really expand the base. So you definitely want to do that. The easiest way is just go to the website, thedeepdivepodcast.live, Live, and just click on the share buttons, like buttons. We're also on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, all of the podcast platforms, about 20 different podcast platforms now. So please go and support. We really look forward to working with each and every one of you over the rest of this year, season 2. We have some incredible guests that are lined up for the year. People are starting to knock on our door in a big way to be a part of the Deep Dive Podcast family. And I could not be more pleased with what's going on and how excited so many people are in terms of what it is that we're doing now and also what we're going to be doing for the rest of the year. So hopefully you have some pen, hopefully you have some pen and paper. I'm going to dive right into tonight's topic. And I want you to pay very close attention because this topic is going to be important for a lot of people. I'm going to kind of slow down a little bit so that you can really understand the value of what it is that we're sharing. We're talking about emptying out the negative thoughts, the negative things, the negative ideas and concepts so that you can focus on the positive. There's so much, guys, that's going on negatively around the world. When you're looking at, economic decline, when you're looking at the pandemic, of course, you're looking at tribalism in terms of politics, you're looking at, religious and spiritual conflicts around the world, just so many things. There's so many ways that people have brought negativity into their lives that I really want to kind of bring some clarity for you. First of all, what negativity is. But then more importantly for you, how can you eliminate negative aspects from your life? Okay, because in a lot of cases, being negative, it is something that you can physically change, but you have to be aware of what it is and how it affects you before you can even make that change. So it's important to know that. And the first thing you want to identify and recognize is what is negativity. There's so many different ways people describe what negativity is, but from your standpoint, what is negativity? For me, being negative is surrendering your internal power. That's you. To the power of the external forces or the world forces that are outside of your being. Now, let me say that once more. For me, negativity is surrendering your internal power, your internal force, right, to external forces and things that are outside of your control. So when you start to look at all of these things and how they start to affect you in a certain way, we have to be able to eliminate those negative ideologies, those negative thoughts, feelings, perceptions, whatever it may be. In a lot of cases, people are negative because they're afraid. They're afraid of something, right? So we have to be able to find out for our, individual lives, What is it that's, causing us to be negative? And how do we counteract that negativity? Well, I can give you one word that'll help you counteract negativity. You can write this word down. It's very important. And that one word is optimism. Optimism. So what does it mean to be optimistic? What does it mean when I talk about that one word, optimism? Well, to be optimistic is to overcome the temptation of hopelessness, right? The temptation of despair, the temptation of self-pity. You have to overcome that particular temptation. So that means when you're thinking about certain things that may be in that negative realm or things that may not be in your control, then you have to be able to grow. There's another key word. You have to be able to grow beyond that level of negativity with a certain amount of optimism, with an optimistic viewpoint to whatever it may be. Now, I'm going to clarify all of this later or as we go through the podcast, but I just want you to get those key buzzwords. Optimism. You want optimism to circumvent negativity. You want your inner power to circumvent all of these external noises, the things that are going on that you truly can't control anyway, in a lot of cases, right? You have to grow to that point, and that's that other word, grow. You want to grow beyond that point. Now, how do you stop being negative? Someone asked me this the other day. How do you actually stop being negative? Because this particular person that asked me this didn't even know that she was a negative type person, that she had a negative persona. And so you can't fault someone for what they don't know. But once they've identified what it is, then you have to really take a fast track approach to dealing with or eliminating those negative things that are affecting your lives. So I shared some things with her, and she's already started to implement some of those things in her life and her lifestyle. And there's a noticeable difference already. Guys, energy is real. I'm a big believer in energy, physical energy, and energy is real. And once you can change your energy from being so negative to something that is more positive, I'm telling you, doors will open up like you would not believe. Have you ever met a person and, you don't even really know this person, but for whatever reason, you don't like him or her, there's something about this person. It's negative energy in a lot of cases. It is negative energy, and people's aura, if you will, exudes energy, whether it's negative or positive or even indifferent, but their being, their persona, their aura gives off a certain type of energy. You don't want that certain type to be negative though, right? So how do you stop negative, energy? How do you stop being negative? One thing that you can do, and I've talked about this to a lot of people, is position yourself to ask yourself the right questions. Write that down. Ask yourself the right questions. Now, when I teach this in some of my executive coaching classes, I use an example that most people can relate to. And that example is this. Let's say you ask yourself a question, why am I overweight? Why am I overweight? Why am I overweight? I can tell you just from experience and knowledge that when you ask yourself a question, the mind has to seek an answer. It is the way it is intended to be, right? If you ask yourself a question, the mind has to seek an answer. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So when you ask yourself that question, why am I overweight? The mind starts to seek an answer to that question. But here's the thing. In a lot of cases, the answers that are brought to the forefront of your mind continue to perpetuate the things that caused you to be overweight in the beginning because you've asked the wrong question. The question shouldn't be, why am I overweight? Why am I overweight? Why am I overweight? The question should be, what do I need to do to lose weight? What do I need to do to lose weight? And guess what? Through physiology, your mind has to seek an answer. And now the answer that the answers that are brought to the forefront of your mindset, those things will help you lose weight because you've asked the perfect question. So again, think about it. One question says, why am I overweight? Versus the other question saying, well, what do I need to do to lose weight? Those two are light years apart, believe it or not. And a lot of people don't understand that. But that one of the first things you can do to eliminate negativity out of your life is just to ask yourself questions, but making sure that you understand you're asking yourself the proper questions. Okay. The second thing you could do is change your thoughts. Change your thoughts. Now, we're still talking about physiology here, because in that first answer, when we talked about asking yourself the right questions, well, I told you that, the mind has to seek an answer, right? Well, in this second point, where I'm talking about changing your thoughts, let me tell you something else that's physically impossible. It is physically impossible for the mind to occupy two thoughts at the same time. It is physically impossible for the mind to occupy two thoughts at the same time. Give yourself this self-examination. Count to 10. You don't have to do it now, but just think about this. Count to 10. And at some point during the counting from 1 to 10, state your name. Okay? State your name while you're counting to 10. Now, let me tell you what's going to happen. Either one or two things are going to happen. Either you're not going to state your name and continue to count to 10, or if you state your name, I guarantee you're going to stop counting to 10. It is impossible to do both of those things at the same time. So what does that mean when I'm talking about changing your thoughts? If you have negative thoughts, if you have a negative feeling, you can instantaneously change that negative feeling, that negative ideology, by changing how you think. Change your thoughts, because your mind can only occupy one thought at a time. Look, if you're depressed, it's because you want to be depressed. Now, let me put a caveat there. I'm not talking about people who have clinical depression. That is a thing. That's a real thing. And that cannot be avoided other than some type of medication or other type of intervention. So I'm not talking about, depression through physical things, things of that nature, right? I'm just talking about going around mad, just going around feeling sad all the time, just going around with a sense of, self-pity. Those things are done because you want them to be done. And I don't literally mean want them to be done. I mean it from this standpoint. You can change those feelings instantaneously by changing your thoughts. If you're having a pity party yourself, right? Change your thoughts. Listen to some music that makes you excited. Do something that will occupy your mind so that you don't have to worry or focus about the self-pity, about this, about that. I'm going to tell you one thing that I do a lot. And I know it sounds crazy. It may sound crazy to some people, but when I'm trying to go to sleep at night, it's extremely difficult for me to just lay down and go to sleep, because I have so many things that are occupying my mindset at all times, all day, all night, every single moment of every single day. Something is occupying my mind because I have so many responsibilities, right? That's not a big deal. But here's the thing. When you're trying to go to sleep, you don't want all of these things flooding your mindset. So for me, knowing that your mind cannot occupy two thoughts at a time, the only way I can go to sleep is I, put something on my iPad, like, don't y'all laugh at me, but, Leave It to Beaver or Andy Griffith or the Beverly Hillbillies. Something that's funny or comical, or something that, that I've seen these episodes time and time and time and time again, just through my life. I've seen all of these episodes a million times. But here's the thing. If I'm listening to the episode of Leave It to Beaver, any episode, if I'm listening to it, I can't think about all of those things that have been flooding my mind all day. It's impossible. It's impossible. And I guarantee you guys, within 3 to 5 minutes of me actually putting on this, episode on my iPad and I'll fall asleep within 3 to 5 minutes, every single time. Now, some always say, well, how do you know? Well, because I know the last part of the episode that I actually remembered, and it was only about 3 minutes in the episode or 5 minutes within the episode. I don't remember anything happened after that. What does that mean? It means I went to sleep within 3 to 5 minutes. Why? Because I couldn't think about things of the day or stressful things. So get good at changing your thoughts. If you get good at changing your thoughts, I'm telling you, you can eliminate negativity out of your life. Okay. One other thing that you can do is to keep positive company. In other words, hang around people who are like-minded, who have like spirits in terms of a positive nature, positive future, positivity, all of those type things. Some people they just wallow in pity. They just wallow in negativity, and I can't deal with it. I try to stay around people and converse with people who have a like mind or like spirit or positive or adding some value to my life. Some people just drain you with their negative approach to everything. A lot of people say they don't watch the news, and I understand why, because the news is just pretty much everything is negative. Everything is negative. It's one thing to be informed, but it's another thing to have your spirit absorbed with negativity from that. Is this word, external forces. Remember, we talked about these external forces in terms of negativity. Well, that stuff can permeate your internal being, and it starts to take control of you. All of this negativity, right? So, make sure you're in the midst of people who have a positive outlook on life, at least speaking with a positive message of everyday hope. What is your vision? What is it that you're looking to do? I talk to people about this all the time because I get so many complainers, and I guess it's just the way people are. They complain about this, that, and thus. But here's the thing. I always ask this question: what are you doing about it? What people will say, they said this. I've never met they, by the way. People will say, well, they said, who is they? Who is they? I've never met they. Well, they said this. They said you shouldn't take the vaccine, or they said this, or they. Who is they? You buy somebody's opinion, you better be prepared to buy their lifestyle. You better be prepared to buy their lifestyle. I choose to listen to people who is living the quality of life that I want to live. I still don't take everything that they say for face value, but what I will do, I will take excerpts from everybody who's living that quality of life that I want to live, and then I make my own decision about my life. I don't listen to they, because they never had anything that was said that was right. Right? So you keep that control. You make sure you're the master of your fate and the captain of your soul, because you become that one that make decisions for your life, not them. Not they. So be careful of the people that you hang around, because misery hates to lose company. Misery hates to lose company. So those individuals are always going to try to share something with you so you can stay miserable and pity party with them, when in actuality, you got places to go and things to do. You don't have time to wallow in the misery of people who are not going anywhere. This is not anything an indictment on those individuals. It's just that you can't allow it to permeate your spirit, right? So be careful of the company that you keep. You also want to practice self-acceptance. Look, when I ask people that question, or people ask me that question, why am I overweight? Why am I overweight? And remember, I told you to change those questions. Sometimes, getting rid of negativity is just a matter of you accepting who you are. Just accept who you are. A lot of times the people you're trying to please and the people you're trying to impress and all these other things, it's not even worth it. Be who you are, accept who you are, and that will eliminate a lot of negativity from your life. I guarantee you it will happen. Most people go through life, they live 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 years, however long, hopefully, right? And at their funeral, a lot of people are lucky if they got 100 people at their funeral. They're lucky. Well, think about this from a macro standpoint. You've lived your entire life to impress all of these people everywhere, all the time. And when you get ready to leave this earth, you only have, less than 100 people at your funeral. Was it worth it trying to impress all of these people? It's not for me. I could care less, right? So be who you are. Practice self-acceptance. If you're overweight, as long as you're healthy, then accept who you are. If you're short, accept who you are. If you're tall, accept who you are, whatever it may be. You can't go around impressing people, because if you impress someone on the left, someone on the right is not going to be impressed. You're always going to be trying to live your life for somebody else. Live it for yourself. And one other thing you can do to eliminate a whole lot of negativity in your life is to just actually maintain self-care. In other words, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Give yourself a nice, bubble bath, or treat yourself to a movie, or, buy yourself something that just you want. It doesn't have to be expensive. It's just something that you want. Take care of you. I always say, give yourself the big piece of chicken sometime. I'm a country boy, if you hadn't figured that out by now. And growing up, my grandmother and then my mother, they would talk about, somebody's coming for dinner. You make sure that, they get the big piece of chicken, and they get the best towels if they're going to spend the night, and the best washcloths. And, my grandmother will even take the plastic off of the sofa if guests are coming. Right? They take the plastic off of the sofa. Now, when the guests leave, they're going to put that plastic back on the sofa. My mom's like, look, you don't eat out of those dishes. Those dishes are for company. Keep the good dishes, the good china for company. We'll eat off of these other dishes. Look, guys, at some point, you got to eat the big piece of chicken yourself. At some point, take the plastic off of your sofa. I know, again, that's a southern country thing, but take the plastic off your sofa. At some point, use your good towels. You can't take this stuff with you. So practice self-care. That's going to eliminate negativity from your life. I guarantee you. So start doing things that's going to make you happy. Doesn't have to be big things. Doesn't have to be expensive things. Just, eat the big piece of chicken. Use the good towels. Don't worry about it. It's okay. All right. So those are some of the things that we want to do in terms of eliminating negativity from your life. Now, let me ask you a question. And I want you guys to think about this for a second. How many of you have heard the phrase, my cup runneth over? My cup runneth over. I'm sure a lot of people have. It's actually an excerpt from the Hebrew Bible and the 23rd Psalm. And it talks about my cup runneth over. Now, there are variations to that. Some, say cup overflows or whatever. But you get the point. My cup runneth over. What does that mean? When that particular verse says my cup runneth over, what does that actually means? That actually means I have more than enough, more than I actually need. I have more than enough. I'm living in abundance. That's what my cup runneth over means, right? I want you to look at your life like a cup, a physical cup. Imagine a physical cup. Okay. And I want you to look at your life like a cup, and understanding that that cup has a capacity. Once it's full, it's full. And then after that, everything that's, entered in the cup is going to flow out beyond the cup, because the cup is full. Look at your life like a cup and ask yourself a question. Imagine, what is in your cup? What is in your cup? Is your cup full of negative things, or is your cup full of positive things? Remember, we're talking about getting negativity out of your life and replacing those things with positive things. So imagine your cup, have negative things in it like doubt or guilt or worry or stress. All of these negative things are in your cup. Guess what happens? You don't have any room for any positivity to come into your cup if it's all filled with negativity, right? You have to be able to replace those negative things with positive things, so that the negative things will eventually flow out of the cup, And eventually, because you have so many positive things, those negative things will flow away. And everything that you have is living in the positive realm. So why not fill your cup with things like joy or peace or creativity or confidence or sexy or strong or blessed? Why not fill your cup with those type things? Think about that for a second. If you put enough of those things in your cup, if you put enough creative things in your cup, if you put enough things of confidence in your cup, peace in your cup, love in your cup, joy in your cup, when you keep putting these things in your cup, it's going to push out doubt. It's going to push out guilt. It's going to push out stress. It's going to push out all of those things that you don't want in that cup. And then ultimately, your cup is going to overflow in abundance with positive things. And that's actually what you want. In the Bible realm, when it talks about my cup runneth over, you're talking about spiritual abundance in a lot of cases. Well, this cup can be a metaphor for any aspect of your life, finances. Well, how do you live in financial abundance? You start putting things in your cup that's going to allow you to continue to grow financially. Whether that's understanding investments, whether that's a business opportunity, whether that's personal growth opportunities that can create an industry for yourself, whatever it may be, you want your financial cup to runneth over. You want your spiritual cup to runneth over. But you also want your cup of positivity to overflow and get rid of these negative things. When you start to worry, that pushes out peace. There's no room for peace and worry at the same time. It doesn't work. Remember we talked about how your mind can only occupy one thought at a time? There's no room in your cup for worry and peace. Worry pushes out peace. And let me tell you something else I don't understand why this is the case, but it is. Negative things are stronger than positive things. They're always stronger for some reason. Negative things are always stronger than positive things. That's crazy to me. They're not equivalent. So if you have a choice between worry and peace, guess what? Worry is stronger. So you're going to have to work twice as hard to get rid of that worry so that you're living in peace. Guilt pushes out confidence. If you're guilty about something, guilt is stronger than confidence. You have to be stronger. You have to build your capacity to a point where your confidence can overcome or circumvent guilt. You become stronger. Even in life, from a financial standpoint, people will say, well, gas prices are so high. Gas prices $3 a gallon, $4 a gallon, $5 a gallon, wherever you live. Why are gas prices so high? Remember, here we go with these questions again. Guess what? Wealthy people are not worried about the price of gas. They fill up and they keep moving. They're not worrying why it's $3, $4, $5 a gallon. Remember, we're asking ourselves those questions. You're asking yourself the wrong questions. Why are gas prices so high? The question should become, what do I need to do to build my income so gas prices become insignificant to me? Wealthy people not worrying about gas prices. Let me tell you a clue if you lacking financial resources. And I'm saying this in a respectful manner, so don't y'all, send me no nasty emails. But look, if you go to the gas pump, you take the time to get out of your car. You take the time, it's cold right now in most parts of the country. You take the time to get out of your car. You take the time to pump gas, and you do not fill up your tank. It's only because you lack the resources to fill up your tank. You feel that it's better to take that extra $10 and do something else with it. There's no logical reason for someone to take all the time, the effort in the cold or in the heat or whatever it is to get out and pump the gas and not fill up, other than one thing: you're lacking resources. Now, if you're understanding this message that I'm sharing with you, that's no big deal, because we've all been there. The question becomes, what do you need to do to be able to go to the gas pump and just fill up and not worry about it? Remember those questions we're talking about, right? So these are all choices. And remember, The negative stuff is always stronger than the positive stuff. So you're going to have to build your capacity. That is building your confidence. That is building your work ethic. It is important to understand the difference between being active and being productive. A lot of people are active. They're doing something, but it's not productive. Just because you're doing something, if you're not moving the needle forward, then you're counterproductive. So activity and productivity are two different things. Make sure you're on the productive side, okay, of being positive and being strong and confident. Every day that you wake up, just make sure you empty your cup of all the negative things before. If something happened on your job the day before, empty it out. Start anew. Okay. If you had an argument or a spat with your kids or your spouse or significant other or whatever it may be from the day before, or someone ticked you off, no, don't worry about it. It's a whole nother day. Just get rid of it and start to fill that cup with positive things. If you're worrying about bills and, sickness and all of these other things, well, it's not that you're dismissing the bills or dismissing illness, but again, you want to be able to have that internal control so that those things don't affect you in a negative way and you can continue to grow and thrive. Worry will just make you old and weak. It'll take away from the quality of your life. You just want to be in a position where you laugh and enjoy and have a stress-free type life. All right. So I want to close out with a couple of things that you can kind of take away. And it'll really force you to understand what it means to live a high quality, positive life. One thing you want to do is, some of these we talked about, but focus on the good things. Just focus on the good things. Challenging situations and obstacles and all of those things, they're part of life. But you don't want to focus on those things. You want to focus on the good things, the positive things. See, most people, they focus on the negative things where it starts to, again, I'm using these same words, but to permeate your spirit again. I give you an example. I remember my mentor, Dr. Miles Monroe. He's one of many mentors I have. I really believe in mentorship. But one thing that he shared with me, this was many years ago, obviously, and he's passed on. But, he said, once you can accept the worst thing that can happen, then that takes away all of the stress of the situation. Once you have accepted the absolute worst thing that can happen. Let me give you an example. Let's just say you have an electric bill. In the South, we call it a light bill, right? So your light bill, your electric bill, if you don't pay it by a certain day, they're going to turn off your light, you're going to turn off your electricity, you're going to turn off your power and all this other kind of stuff. Understanding the premise that Dr. Monroe talked about, once you accept the fact that, if I don't have this money by Friday, when 5 o'clock, when they said they're going to whack my electricity, I'll just have to sit in the dark and work it out. Once you accept that, all the stress goes away. All the stress goes away. Now, I'm not saying that that's what you want to do. I'm not saying you want to sit in the dark and all this other kind of stuff. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is once you accept the worst of the situation, now what else can happen? They turned it off. Okay. Now you just got to do what you got to do to get it turned back on. But you're not sitting there stressing and making a bad situation worse by, straining your heart and running your blood pressure up and all these other things by something that, you may not be able to control at that moment. Once you've accepted the worst, all of that stress goes away. So focus on the good thing. The second thing you want to do is practice gratitude. Practice gratitude. I'm very grateful for everything that I have, the big or the small. If someone gives me something, I'm extremely grateful. I don't care if it's a pen. I don't care if it's a belt. I don't care if it's something small. I'm grateful for everything because no one has to do anything for you. And I'm not just talking about giving. I'm just talking about gratitude. Most people who have a roof over their head and food in their stomach and things of that nature, even though you may not be where you want to be, but you have to be grateful for where you are if you have some comforts of life. There are people I know who are listening in other parts of the world to this podcast who are living below the standards that we offer here in America. And I understand that, and I'm sensitive to that. But then they're also very appreciative of where they are while they're on their journey to where they want to be. Let me say that again. Be appreciative and grateful, have gratitude for where you are while you're on your journey to where you want to be. It's okay. It's a part of the process. Okay. Even if you have to just keep some type of gratitude journal, I think that'll help. One thing that I did, I told people, I think I said this on the podcast last week, but I don't do New Year's resolutions because I resolve to do what I'm going to do every single day of my life. I set my goals every single day, and I don't need a resolution to tell me what I need to do because I'm going to do it anyway, regardless. But one thing that I did want to start the year off with in terms of resetting my life, there's a difference between a reset and a resolution. We'll talk about that another day. But in resetting my life, one of the things that I wanted to do through the first 21 days of the year of 2020, the very first thing I did every single day is I have a little gratitude message that I share with myself. And I said this gratitude message every single day. I wanted to do that for the first 21 days of January. The reason I wanted to do 21 days consecutively, because once you've done something 21 days consecutively, it starts to become a part of who you are. So now I'm on autopilot when it comes to being grateful and saying my gratitude speech every day. Okay, so it's now become a part of me. Well, do something like that. Just be grateful every single day. I heard Oprah Winfrey, and I think I put this in my book, The Mindset of a Champion, shameless plug. But one of the things that Oprah Winfrey said when they asked her, about her success, someone asked her about her success. And she said that the one thing that she did more than anything else is show gratitude for whatever she had, whether it was small, whether it was large. She always had gratitude for those things in her life. That's the biggest thing that she could share in terms of having a superior mindset. And I'm like, wow, that was deep. And I put it in the book for that very reason, because if you want to have a mindset of a champion, then being grateful for what you have is a part of that mindset. Remembering whatever that is, big or small, just being grateful for that. Practice something else you want to do is practice, self-talk, Talk. Sometimes I have to spell my words out because some people, they can't understand my Southern colloquialism. So I have to spell it out. But that self-talk, right? I have a lot of quirks that may be, counter to what a lot of people say. For example, I don't believe in all of these affirmations like, I'm strong, and I'm this and I'm that. Because to me, and I'm a logical person, I don't care how many times you say the sky is purple, the sky is purple, the sky is purple. Well, you're affirming that, but guess what? The sky ain't purple. No. It's not purple. So all of these affirmations, there's a place for them, but I don't live and die by affirmations. But what I do believe in is positive self-talk. And positive self-talk is, again, putting in your mindset, because once again, you can only have one thought in your mind at a time. Positive self-talk is just strengthening and giving you capacity, because there's no room for nothing else. There's no room for anything else. So just practice positive self-talk. Whatever positive self-talk is to you, in terms of you empowering yourself by the conversations that you have with yourself. And again, that's different from affirmations. This is just a sound belief, but I don't believe in affirmations, because the sky ain't purple. I don't care how many times you affirm it. It ain't. It's not, right? But positive self-talk, you don't have room for anything negative. Okay. Now, next thing is to identify the areas that you're being negative. Identify your areas of negativity. If you're being honest with yourself, what are you being negative about? What are you being negative about? I ain't going to call no names, but there are people who I interact with a lot that every time we converse, I'm slowing down my speech so I make sure I don't say the wrong thing. A lot of people thought President Obama, was stuttering a lot. He wasn't stuttering. He was thinking before he was opening his mouth, because once those words come out, it's like you can't put that toothpaste back in the tube. So if you slow down to say this so I don't say the wrong thing. But there's some people that I interact with quite frequently that I know, I don't care when it is or what's happening, they're going to talk about something negative. They're going to say something negative. It never fails. It never ceases to amaze me. There's a friend of mine that's an actor, and a lot of times he do these, what do you call them, TikToks, or not TikToks, or live streams, or whatever it is. And I can tell you just every single time, it's something negative. It's something negative. It drives me batty. This could be a Sam thing. But again, we're talking about eliminating negativity from your life. That drives me batty, that every time he speaks, he's talking about something negative. I don't like hearing a lot of men and women of faith always talking about something negative. When they always talking about, well, y'all don't get this, or you don't understand, or well, hold up. That's why we're here, to understand. If we're coming to church, we're coming to understand. Don't just sit there and yell at me. You don't understand. You don't get this. Okay, that's why we're here. Teach me something. Don't preach to me. Teach me something. Preaching to me does nothing. I can read. Teach me something. I have a company, One Voice Worldwide. I used to tell these people who were doing presentations that don't get in front of the room and presenting an opportunity to somebody and you beating up guests by, y'all don't get this, or y'all got to get this, or you broke, or this, that. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's negative thinking. That's counterproductive. These people have come to your meeting, your presentation, to be empowered, not to be bashed. That's a negative spirit that's on people, right? So you have to, and I said that to say, just to this point, you have to identify what you're saying and doing that's negative. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that I'm guiltless in all of this, because I've been one of the biggest negative people in the past that there is. However, I was honest enough with myself to be able to identify all of those areas of negativity and really, really work on it. Really work on it. I'm quick tempered. I can go from 0 to 100 almost instantaneously, but I have to work on that. Because that's not good to go from, happy-go-lucky to furious in a matter of a second. That's not good. So I have to work on it. My mom used to tell me, and God rest her soul, she used to tell me even on my presentations, right? Sam, just count to 10. Count to 10. I could be on a presentation blowing and going, or I could be in a meeting blowing and going, on a conference call, and she would text me or something. Count to 10, because she could feel it coming. I don't mean to. It's something that I need to work on. Well, that's a negative thing that I needed to identify so that I can work on it. Now I'm conscious of it these days, and if I really go there, it's really warranted. I'm not just going there just to go there. Now it's really warranted because I'm conscious of that negative aspect of my life. So identify areas of negativity in your life. And finally, start every day on a positive note. We talked about starting every day with gratitude, but even taking that to the next level, start on a positive note. Do something every single day when you start your day that's going to create something positive for that entire day. Okay, do something every single day that's going to create something positive for that day. Even the conversations where we talked about, how you having positive self-talk. There are people who, when someone asks you how you're doing, if you say, I'm okay, okay just means really you're bad. You're doing bad. What people speak is above where the reality is in terms of things like that. So if someone say, ask you how you doing, I'm doing okay, I assume they're not doing okay. They're doing pretty bad, right? If you ask someone how they're doing and they say, oh, I'm good. Good just means you're doing okay. If you're having a good day, That means you're really having an okay day, right? Well, great. If someone say, how you doing? You say, I'm doing great. Well, great means good. Great means good. If you say you're having a great day, that means you're having a good day. So how do you have a great day then? If you want to have a great day and someone asks you, well, how is your day going? My day is outstanding. You'll hear me say that a lot. My day is outstanding. What does that mean? That means either I'm having a great day or I'm aspiring to have a great day. But when you hear me, I'm not going to say my day is okay. I'm not going to say my day is good. I'm not going to say my day is great. I'm going to say my day is outstanding. That's because I want to, if I'm having a great day or I'm aspiring to have a great day, and anything less is unacceptable. I have a friend of mine, her name is Aisha Akbar, and anytime you ask her how she's doing, she's going to say outstanding. She's going to say outstanding. That's what we're talking about. No matter how things may be going, she's going to say outstanding. Reason being, either she's having a great day or she's aspiring to have a great day, but she's not settling for anything less. We all have to adapt that type of mentality, guys. We have to adapt that type of mindset. We have to adapt that type of persona. We have to adapt that type of positive energy in order for us to eliminate all of these negative things out of our lives. Okay, we have to be able to do that. So empty out all of the negativity so that you can focus on the positive things. I'll close with this, and I say this all the time because I want people to understand that God didn't make winners and losers. God just made choosers. And where you are today is just based on your choices. You can choose to win, you can choose to lose, but where you are, good or bad or indifferent, is just based on your choices. Everybody is given 24 hours in a day. You don't have to blame the man. You don't have to blame them, they, all those things we talked about. You have your own set of 24 hours. What are you doing with your hours? God didn't make winners and losers. He just made choosers. The good thing about God, regardless of how you identify God, the good thing about God is God is a forgiving God, which means that if you're in a bad situation today because you made bad choices, the great thing is, the thing that should give you encouragement is the fact that you can choose your future by changing your choices. You can control your future just by changing your choices. People we offer business opportunity to a lot of time, and people look at it and poo-poo it and all this other kind of stuff when they're struggling financially. You don't have the right to poo-poo anything that's put before you if you're lacking. People, a lot of times I heard this lady, I'm not going to get into any names, but this older white lady, I have a lot of respect for her, and she wanted to pray for this other lady, sister that was just down and out on her luck, and she wanted to pray for her. And the lady said, "No, I'm good. I don't believe in all that. I'm good. Look, sister, you got nothing to lose. Let this lady pray for you. You ain't got nothing to lose. You got nothing to lose. Let her pray. Look, don't block your blessings with negativity, guys. Don't do that. Don't do that. Keep an open mind. If you want to build your capacity to the point where you can make firm decisions, that's great. But don't just block your blessings with negativity. If you didn't get anything else out of this podcast, I hope you understand that you don't want to block your blessings with negativity. You don't want to block your blessings with, other people controlling who you are and what you do. You don't want to block your blessings by hanging with the wrong people who are doing the wrong thing, saying the wrong thing, all for the wrong reason. All of these things you don't want to do. You become the master of your fate. You become the captain of your soul because you're going to fill your cup with positive things and eliminate all of the negative things that are part of your life. Okay. So hopefully this podcast empowered some people. I know I had a great time just sharing this with you. I'm going to do a lot more solo podcasts this season because I want to get into some teaching topics. I have several topics that I want to talk about. I'm writing those down. I'm excited about getting those in between guests. We have a lot of guests lined up, but again, I want to make sure we doing some teaching as well. Our podcast is not just about entertainment, but it's about empowerment. So we want to empower you through our podcast, through our teachings, and through everything that we do here on the Deep Dive Podcast. With that, guys, I need you to do me a couple of favors real quick, and we're out of here. Make sure that when you get off the podcast, you like, subscribe, download, and share this podcast. It's immediately going to be on Spotify and Apple and Google and TuneIn and all of these things. You can go to my website at the deepdivepodcast.live. Remember, not .com, .live, Live. You can listen to all of the other episodes from season 1 and even the first few episodes of season 2. Take a listen to these at your leisure. Go to the Deep Dive University of listening to all of these podcasts and empowering yourself, and listen from some incredible guests. One of the guests that we're going to have soon, very soon, is one of the hottest hip hop artists that's in the country right now, out of New York. We're going to be doing something with him very soon. I'm looking forward to that. And I mean, I can go down the list, but go to the deepdivepodcast.live, listen to the podcast, and support. Your support means everything, because it gives us the ability to expand what we're doing even further. If you notice, last season, we may have been on about 11 different podcast platforms. Now we're on 20 plus different podcast platforms. Our numbers have skyrocketed around the world. I could just go on, and I'm not saying this to pat myself on the back, because it has nothing to do with me and everything to do with you. And so I appreciate your respect. I appreciate and respect everything that you guys have been doing. And I really look forward to your support. So keep supporting. Also, if you want to see the video versions, we have all of the video versions of the podcast now on YouTube, and it's at the Deep Dive Podcast with Sam Orum. Make sure you put with Sam Orum, because there are other podcasts called the Deep Dive, right? So the Deep Dive Podcast with Sam Orum on YouTube. You can watch this video and any video of all the other podcasts. They're all on the YouTube channel. Again, like, subscribe, download, and share. With that, guys, I've taken up enough of your time. Hopefully you received something from this podcast. I know I enjoyed doing it. I enjoyed teaching and empowering people. So hopefully there was something that you received from it. If so, drop me a line, drop me an email. And if you want to be a guest, anybody, if you got any kind of information or anything that can empower people or impact people in a positive way, again, you can go to the website, the same website, Deep Dive Podcast, the Deep Dive Podcast.live. And there is a tab there to click if you want to be a guest. We'll get that and vet it and make sure that everything is good. And if you have a message of empowerment, we're down to have you on the podcast. All right. So with that, God bless each and every one of you, and we'll see you on the beaches of the world.